All rise. Vuelve. Please be seated.
Witness, welcome back. Ms. Lowry, you were...
Yes, just for the record, Mr. President, to note that the Ruto defence have been joined by Mr. David Hooper QC.
Noted.
And perhaps we could also note that Mr. Steinberg has now stepped out. Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Witness, before the break we were talking about Kimumu. Do you recall, at the time of the post-election violence, who the chief of Kimumu was?
Unauliza chief ama unauliza mtu mgani?
You want to know who the chief was? Or do you want to know the name of somebody else?
Do you recall who the chief of Kimumu was in 2007 at the time of the post-election violence?
Alikuwa anaitwa Sang, Chief Sang.
He was called Sang, Chief Sang.
And do you know which ethnic group he belonged to?
Chief Sang alikuwa Mukalejin.
Chief Sang was Kalenjin.
Now, witness, to the best of your knowledge, in Kimumu, prior to the 2007 election, which ethnic groups, if any, mostly supported the ODM and Odinga?
Walikuwa Wakalejin na Wajaruo.
It was the Kalenjin, the Luo, and even other tribes. They supported the ODM.
Mr. President, I'm just waiting for the transcript to update. And witness, what other tribes were those?
Hata Waluhya walikuwa
Well, there were the Luhya. They supported ODM.
And regarding the PNU, which ethnic groups in Kimumu mostly supported PNU and Kibaki?
walikuwa Wakikuyu.
It was the Kikuyu.
Now, I don't want you to mention any names, but can you describe for the court how relations were in Kimumu between ODM and PNU supporters during the election campaign?
Uhusiano ulikuwa tofauti kwa sababu kama mtu alikuwa wa ODM alikuwa na
Relations were different. Those who supported ODM wanted ODM to be elected. Those who supported PNU wanted PNU to be elected. That's to say that the relations were different between the two groups.
Could you just explain what you mean by the relations were different?
na maanisha hivi kama mimi nilikuwa
I want to say the following. If, for example, the PNU belonged to Kibaki and they supported PNU, and if the Kalenjin and the Luya were for ODM, then they supported the ODM.
And what was the atmosphere like in Kimumu during this time in the election campaign?
wakati wa campaign Kimumu walikuwa
At the time of the election campaign in Kimumu, well, they said that if ODM was elected or not, the Kikuyu had to go back, to go home, to their homes.
And where are you referring to by their homes? Where is that?
tulikuwa tunaambiwa walikuwa wanasema Wakikuyu warudi.
They said the following. The Kikuyu had to go to Odaya, go back to Odaya.
Do you know why people said that the Kikuyu had to go to Otaya?
Walikuwa wanasema hivyo kwa sababu the former president
They said that because the former president, His Excellency Kibaki, came from there. And Otaya is in Central Province. Utaya is in Central Province in Kenya.
Just to spell Otaya for the record, that's
I
O-T...
think it's been captured.
I see it now. Mr. President, in fact, I had follow-up questions for the witness on this topic, which would best be canvassed in private session, if the court's minded. 2 minutes maximum.
Private session then.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Mr. President, we're in public session.
Thank you.
Witness, you've said that people had been telling the Kikuyu they should go back to Otaya. Do you recall if they referred to the Kikuyu in any particular way?
nimesema hivyo. Walikuwa wanatuambia sisi ni madoadoa na sisi ni
They said that we were Madoa Doa and Sangari.
Regarding madoadoa, is it correct that that is a Swahili word?
Ni neno la Kiswahili.
Yes, it is a Swahili word.
Can you tell the court what that word means?
Madoadoa ni walikuwa wanamaanisha.
Madoadoa means that Kikuyu were people who were everywhere. They were found everywhere. You would find them here, you would find them there, you would find them everywhere. And that is why they were referred to as Madoadoa. Now, if you have an attire which has an orange or white color, what they meant by Madoadoa was that that we were everywhere.
And did the people who referred to the Kikuyu as Madoadoa say what should happen to the Madoadoa?
Walisema madoadoa wataondoka, watarudi Udhaya.
They said that the Madoadoa should return to Udhaya.
And did they say how the Madoadoa should return to Otaya?
Walikuwa wanasema, yani ile saini walituonyesha ya kurudi Udhaya ni vile walituchomea.
When they told us to return to Udhaya, they said so by burning down our houses. That was a way for them to chase us away. They burnt down our houses and looted our property. Those were the signs. You see, you cannot continue to live in an area where there is no peace, and therefore we were expected to flee and to go elsewhere.
And again, without mentioning any names, who are you referring to when you say they burnt down our houses and looted our property?
Ni hao watu wenye walituchomea manyumba wa Kalenjin.
I am talking about those Kalenjins who burnt down our houses. They are the ones who said that we should return to our places in Udhaya because we had come and taken over their compounds and their place. Because, you know, Rift Valley is a place that is occupied by the Kalenjin. I used to live at number 1.
All right. Now let's just leave the answer as it is.
Witness, you explained what you understood Madoadoa to mean. Is there a literal translation? How does the word translate exactly? I'll rephrase that. That's not well put. What does the word literally mean, witness?
Utafsiri wa madoadoa ni kitu, yani kiko na maua.
Madoadoa means something you see, they said that we were the Madoadoa, meaning that we were everywhere. So it is something that is everywhere.
And you said a moment ago that it was like a tire with... Bear with me one moment. It was like a tire which has orange or white colors. Can you explain a little bit more? Can you provide a bit more detail to the court what you mean by that with the madoa doa?
This is what I said, and let me explain further. You see, if I have a blue outfit and I have another with a pink color, what I meant is that where we were living, the Kikuyus were dominant, so to speak.
Wado.
Witness, all right.
Actually, the microphone was off.
Should have. I give you a lot of information already. Now here is the time to give you another one. When you speak, I will ask you to speak with moderate speed, not too fast, also not too slow, but speak at a pace like I'm speaking now that will make it easy for the interpreters to interpret what you're saying. Because if I speak too fast, then they may not follow what I'm saying. But if I slow down and spoke calmly and deliberately, it will give them time to catch up and follow what interpretation is they need to do. So it's for that I ask you if you can pace yourself and not too fast so they can follow. Do you understand? Thank you very much.
Yes, I have understood you.
The lawyer was asking you what you were trying to explain with colors when you were trying to explain the meaning of madoa doa. Can you do that again? The explanation in relation to the colors.
Madoadoa nimesema, nimepeana mfano ni kama rangi ya blue or pink.
I give you an example of two colors, blue and pink. But it's the pink color which is predominant. So if you look, you would see pink, pink, pink everywhere. And it is for that reason that we were referred to as madoa doa, given that the Kikuyus were everywhere.
Now, witness, you also said a few moments ago that you heard the Kikuyus being referred to as Sangari. Is it correct that this is also a Swahili word?
Ni neno la Kiswahili.
Yes, it is a Swahili word.
And once again, can you explain to the court what this word means?
Neno sagari linamaanisha hivi.
This is what Sangari means. If in our area, for example, we have grass in the central province from where I come, for example, when this grass grows, it invades the whole place. And that plant is a plant that invades. It's very invasive and difficult to uproot.
So the same question as before. Did the people who called the Kikuyu Sangari say what should happen to the Sangari?
Ni kuondolewa mahali tulikuwa, yani vile tulichomewa na mali yetu ikaibiwa.
The grass had to be removed. That is why our property was looted, our houses were torched, and we were told that the Madoadoa Sangari should return to Othaya.
Okay, witness, I'd now like to take you to the day of the elections. Election day, 27th of December 2007. If you could look at the sheet in front of you, please. And if the location is on the sheet, could you tell the court where you voted on the day of the elections?
Inapatikana namba 3.
It is location number 3.
And did the voting go smoothly on that day?
Ulikuwa sawa, hakukuwa na shida yoyote.
Yes, everything went on normally. There were no problems.
And do you recall at approximately what time the polls closed on the 27th of December?
Walifunga kitu saa 12.
They closed at 18 hours.
And at the time that the polls closed, do you know who was leading the votes or the counting?
Hiyo tarehe 27 vile walianza kuhesabu kura.
On the 27th, when they started to count the votes, the person with the highest number of votes was Honorable Kibaki.
Mr. President, I have further questions which submit would best be done privately. The court's minded for approximately 5 minutes or thereabouts.
Private session.
And the list of locations. If the location is there, can you tell the court where this was that you saw this?
alitoka namba 3, alitoka upande wa namba 3.
They came from the place at number 3. They took the road at number 5.
Now you say they. Was Samuel Ruto with other people? You don't need to say names. Please just say if he was alone or if he was with others.
Mwenye nilitabua ni yeye.
That's the person I recognize.
And was Samuel Ruto on foot or was he travelling by some other means?
Alikuwa kwa gari.
He was travelling on a vehicle.
But was he amongst a group of people or was he alone? You don't need to tell us anything further than that for now.
Walikuwa na watu wengine.
He was accompanied by other persons.
Witness, I'm going to ask a question about that, but before I do, I just want to ask you, do you know which political party Samuel Ruto belonged to?
Sikumbuki hasa alipita na chama gani wakati huo.
I don't remember what party he was elected to at that time.
So you said that Samuel Ruto was accompanied by other persons. Were they in the vehicle with him? Were they outside the vehicle? Could you describe the scene, please?
Ilikuwa msafara wa magari, lakini yeye hiyo gari
There was a convoy of vehicles. In the vehicle that he was, where it had an open roof, and he was celebrating his victory. You could see his head outside of the vehicle, but there was a convoy accompanying him.
Now, without saying where you were, could you describe your position when you saw this? But don't tell the court what place you were at.
Nilikuwa namba 2.
I was at the place at number 2.
Now, do you recall hearing anything as this convoy was passing you?
Alisema ODM
He said the following. They had said that ODM had won, and that's why the Kikuyu needed to return to Odaya, to start returning to Odaya.
Was it the person you recognized who said this or somebody else?
Ni yeye huyo Samuel.
It was him. Samuel Ruto.
And how far away from him were you standing when you heard him say this?
Vile alitokesea namba 3, area namba 3, akakuja akashika.
He came from place number 3 to go to going on number 5, and I was at number 2. When I heard the voice of the people, I went out, and I was just next to number 5.
Witness, I'm just trying to get some idea of distance. Perhaps you could use the room that we're in now. If it's possible, was the distance that you were from this convoy, can it be compared to a point in this room? From where you're sitting?
Nilikuwa kama pale. Na yeye alikuwa anapita kama hiyo mwisho ya nini.
I was approximately there, and he was on the other side. And that's where he was passing.
Mr. President, for the record, the witness first pointed at the far wall on the side of the room where our colleagues from the defense are, and then subsequently pointed to the far wall behind the prosecution.
Next time, let's try and proceed from the general to the particular with that sort of question. And in terms of let the witness try and do his or her best to give the indication without providing the parameters. And then we'll see how that goes. We may still end up doing that, but it's best not to begin with giving the witness the parameters in that way.
Of course, Your Honour, I just engaged in that exercise as the witness appeared to be using local locations which not everyone in the courtroom would be familiar with. I'm certainly not, but I'll take that for the next time, of course. Now, witness, as this convoy passed you, did you happen to notice if anybody in the convoy was carrying anything that you recall?
Sikuona kitu.
No, I didn't see anything in particular.
Mr. President, I noticed the time. I wonder if the court would like to rise or would wish for me to continue questioning.
Yes, we will take our morning break now. Sorry, the lunch break. Witness, it is time for a lunch break, and we will be rising and returning at 2:30. So the court officers would usher you out of the courtroom. But first of all, we will bring down the blinds for that to happen. Over lunch, please do not discuss your testimony with anybody. Thank you.